note that we are live, so I'm going to do a quick intro. Welcome, folks. This idea is 100% stolen and adapted from Gary Vaynerchuk's Tea with Gary V.
Whatever.
However, I've stolen a lot of his stuff. I have, and he always encourages that.
I mean, your name is stolen.
Yeah. Dimitri was like, you know what we need to do? We need to sit down and chat with people. So I don't know, what was the goal here? I guess the idea for anyone
just to say what's up, man. Just to like BCBA support group, man. Let's talk. Let's touch base. Let's see
Drink
how
our
everything's
tea.
Going. Have some tea, man. Tea with TCE. I got coffee. I'm more of a coffee drinker.
Same,
but
yeah.
You know,
cheers to that.
Cheers to you. If tea's what turns you on, that's what you should be doing.
Medium steep tea,
wow,
double, buddy.
I just pulled up the live screen, the live on my second screen, and it does our faces, like our whole screen faces.
Yep, I set it up. Yeah, I set it up to like it's there.
Okay.
I can switch that if we wanted to, but I think that's the best way to go about it. So officially, I'm going to promote this and get this kind of circling around. I guess for anyone, I'm going to publicly commit to today crushing out that episode that you all recorded this week. Maybe want to give people a teaser as to what that was.
It does talk about this event right here, so FYI.
I failed.
It wasn't promote. Yes, it does promote.
We'll do another one.
Yeah. I mean, it honestly just talked about like how we're feeling, man, and how we're handling all this stuff. Like
it's just like the emotions of COVID and the grieving of it and like all the stages.
Okay, yeah.
It is, man. It is. I'm going through the nonstop stages of grief, man.
Every day.
Every day. Like I recycle them over and over and over.
Totally.
Oh man.
Okay, we've got folks popping in. Sweet.
Come in. Hello.
So I can't switch to this view. It'll switch over and show everybody that has cameras on. Welcome. Feel free to throw your camera on. If you have headphones, please turn them on or plug them in. If you do not, that's okay. Just use your mute button to kind of manage that. This is supposed to be a group combo, so
yeah, this is supposed to be on. Open Bethany, forum, man. We're
Casey,
literally just hosting a live thing.
Maggie,
we have
what's
no
up?
agenda.
Sorry, I'm
cameras.
Casey, what's up?
Hey!
What's up, guys?
What up,
Casey?
dude?
I knew that was you, Bethany. I saw your name pop up. I'm like, oh my God, we went to master's program together.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Hello.
Sorry,
so what's up?
How's
Talk
it going?
Good.
How's everyone surviving? Telehealth.
I mean, I think great because I don't have to do any of it.
Yeah, not much over here.
Oh well, that's I mean that's one way to handle it.
Hey man, you got to find the joy in these things, and the joy is that we're just hanging out, working on YouTube videos. It's great, but that's how are you doing? Like, has it been a massive adjustment for you?
Huge adjustment.
What would you say? What I've been trying to gauge is what are like the top like 3 or 4 things that have made it really hard for people. Because like I watched a webinar on it, and the whole time I'm like, how is this really effective? Like other than this just being like really good parent training potentially, like how is this good? Like
what's so hard about it is that so many kids that we have that a barrier is attending, and then we're like, yes, and please now attend to this screen in your extremely chaotic home environment that we have no control over, and do this activity I'm telling you to do. Like I have totally abandoned activities. I am like solely in this, let me communicate with you as a person and make sure that you have food. Like, are you okay?
That's awesome.
Show me your house.
Actually, I think that's awesome because like that's kind of actual functional communication training if you think about it.
Yeah, I did my nails with a girl over Zoom the other day. Like, okay, let's just hang out and have some salon time because you don't get that right now, and we just need to have some kind of human connection going on.
Dude, for real.
It's too hard for me to try and generalize these skills in an environment that is so beyond anybody's control right now.
Yeah. No, it's struggle is real. It's really real. Casey, what have you been up to, man?
Just literally trying to stay creative and keep creating content and shit for both Behavior Bitches and Study Notes ABA. we
Yeah.
are super blessed that we do have both of our platforms online.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
we were already really, familiar with Zoom, and we're just trying to also support our students that have lost jobs, that are reaching out for,
Resources and stuff.
a big part of like our collective is, you get a 4-month access piece, and Pearson centers are closed till like August. So, we're also being really flexible and helping them out and making sure that they have some peace of mind that we're not just going to drop them. Like,
Yeah.
we got you.
Are you guys thinking about maybe extending it or something past
Oh, yeah.
this? So, okay.
Yeah. 100%. Like, we made a big announcement for our class, not to fear, like their access will be extended until they test. End of story.
That's
Like,
awesome.
We got you.
That's responsible, man. That's good.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. And, dealing with a lot of those emails and stories that are coming in, and it's a lot. It weighs on you when you're every day like, oh my God, like you hear these horror stories that they can't, people can't pay their bills. They can't eat.
Mhm.
So
Dude,
I'm like, here, I'll give you whatever I have.
I know, dude. It's so tragic. And like, the thing is that you never thought, I mean, we did an episode, 8 months ago, a year ago, talking about the autism bubble and how it's like so much. I mean, there's 90 days ago, there was so much money in our business that like private equity is getting involved, trying to soak up every provider on the planet because of all the insurance laws that got passed and all that other stuff. And here we are sitting and think about it like this too, less than 6 weeks, less than 6 weeks of no billables. All of a sudden, half the people unemployed. That's fucked up. Like
it is.
There's something not right about that. There's something missing in that equation that doesn't quite make sense or add up.
It's not even just us. Like, my husband works in like aerospace, right? He builds jet engine parts for Pratt and Whitney, and he works for a huge company. He went into work yesterday morning. There was literally hundreds of people being taken up the stairs into an office. The owner had to come in. Their company's projected to lose $4.1 billion this year. They had to lay every single hourly employee off. And they told them that you probably will not actually come back to TurboCam because it's not going to be what it was. And people were walking out crying. It was like doomsday. Like, it's scary. And luckily he's salaried and hopefully he'll be safe for a little while, but
Dude, I got a feeling this is going to be a humble pie time for a lot of us. It's going to be like, you know what, dude? Yeah, I got a master's degree and I clean toilets. It's fine. You know what I mean? Like, whatever it takes to pay the mortgage, the rent, like it's all gravy. Ben, hi, man. How's it going? Welcome to the group.
Hey, how you doing, Dimitri? Hey, everyone.
Hey, guys.
What's up,
I'm Ben, by the way.
Hi.
Hey, Ben.
Hey.
How do you find us, bro?
How'd I find you?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been listening to the TCE since episode 1. Been supporting the Daily BA for quite a while. So I've been lurking for a long time.
We did a
Decided
video
to
together too.
Emerge from the shadows.
Yeah.
We did a video on DOBA too about mental health and like how he works in areas outside the kind of the typical BCBA realm.
Oh, I see. Do you work in that kind of like area?
Yeah. So I work primarily with obsessive compulsive disorder and some anxiety disorders related to that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So kind of 3 pockets I practice in. So I do the typical insurance-based ABA for autism. I do, straightforward behavior therapy for OCD and anxiety disorders and some related things like Tourette syndrome, which behavioral treatment is almost pretty much straight ahead ABA.
Okay.
Just a lot of DRI schedules, that kind of thing. And then I also do treat mental health in the context of high functioning autism, which is something I get a lot of calls about since about half these people end up with some kind of anxiety disorder because we teach them how to do the basics, how to mand, how to understand some relational frames, and guess what, they develop the same anxieties and insecurities we all do, but with some missing skill sets to deal with it,
and rigidities and repetition if you do error correction procedures in a certain way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Some of the oppositional behavior that comes in that population is pretty fascinating too, because it really does shape a whole different kind of conception of how you approach that case. You know, because you got to like really think about it in terms of like verbal behavior and interplay and social dynamics, and just straight up like environmental contingencies, like discrete observable environmental contingencies, you know, controlling them. So that's pretty yeah, that's cool, man. That's awesome populations. That's really interesting. You know, that's always whenever anyone says anything other than autism, it's always like you're talking to a unicorn in what we do. So it's like, tell me more. How'd you get into that? Where'd you do that? You know, did you have a secondary license? Are you a social worker too? Like, how you get an LPC? I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like,
I kind of went back and forth over the last 15 years or so between clinical psychology and ABA, and landed with a combination of both. So my master's is in clinical psych. Then after I got my degree, after doing you know, just research for a long time, I really wanted to work with you know, with people again. So I spent you know, 4 years going through the ranks in ABA, got my BCBA in 2011. And then got back into doing things in the more clinical psych realm, and found a good psychologist to work with who did work with OCD, and got my licensed professional clinical counselor in I guess pretty recently, 2018, and then just started my own practice right after that.
man, that's the way to go. That's I think the mistake that so many of us make. I kick myself in the ass every day for not getting a secondary license, like an LPC or something like that, so I could actually practice across other things and not be so constrained. That's really smart that you did that. How big was that process to do that? Is it super arduous?
It was a pretty big pain in the ass for me, because I got my degree out of state, and it wasn't set up as a like a pre-licensed degree. So I pretty much had to remediate about a dozen classes, and then before going through the process of getting my internship status, which lets you accumulate hours before you get your license. It's a little different than getting your BCBA. You kind of have to get an intermediate certification just to be able to count the hours. So that was the hard part. And then it's 3,000 hours. So it takes, you know, obviously about twice as long to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, it for me is worth it, even though I felt, you know, competent treating other populations without the license, but yeah, it's definitely worth it just because, you know, having that license just you know, gives you the license literally to set up a shingle, and people are more willing to work with you.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's that behavior analysis is just not recognized in every state in the same way, so it varies so dramatically that you can't really just set up your shingle like you can with like a psychology license or something like that. That's facts. Yeah, because in Ohio it's certification. Even it's like in Ohio we're not even licensed, we're certified Ohio behavior analysts.
Oh, we're just certified in California too. We're not licensed either. Yeah.
Come on in. So what how do we do this thing? How do we do like if we do like BCBA support group? Is this kind of like, obviously it's not anonymous because it's on Facebook Live, but it's like, hi, my name's Dimitri, I'm a victim of COVID. I'm just struggling.
I wanted to get to know people, but also we had a fun Facebook question.
What is it?
So first of all, welcome, Catherine.
Hey.
Where are you coming in from?
Southern California, San Diego.
Nice.
Hey, Kat.
Hey, everybody. Hey.
Kat's helped us out with, which we've put on hold right now since everyone's crazy, but the Behavior Bitches book club, and she's made some pretty badass PowerPoints.
Nice.
So
What's your
Very
book?
impressive PowerPoints.
What's your book?
It's so much fun. We were doing like some pop culture kind of habit change books and behavior analyzing them, and
Oh, awesome.
doing a little book club.
That's cool.
we did the Happiness Trap, and one by
Gretchen Rubin.
Yeah, changing habits.
Mhm.
Yeah.
like how to change how I like halfway through until we reckon too, which is a devastating
Dude.
thing.
I
Mass
know.
incarceration and the trouble with our criminal justice system. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting. So
We had a fun comment from Liat in Facebook said,
And where are you at, Biatch? Why aren't you in here?
right?
Yeah,
I
for
know,
real.
right? Where is she?
Get
She
your
said-
fingerless ass in here.
Love it.
Oh man.
God.
So she said, when do we think ABA services will be back up and running?
Never. No, I'm
Who
joking.
knows?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Man, whoever's got
I'm
that
sick of
prediction
that.
better go short the stock market.
Right? Anyone have
Yeah,
any
Lena,
realistic
welcome.
thoughts on that? I mean, I just tuned in this morning that at least in the US, Trump announced like we're going to do some sort of phased database approach as to when states start to open, and it's in the hands of essentially the data. We all know how convoluted.
What do you mean he has absolute power? What are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
He is the data.
Could you imagine if that was I am the data, bitches?
I am the data.
Oh my god.
God.
Whoever's good at that, like start the meme now. Just go
Dude,
for it.
Have you guys watched that shit? It's like watch a train wreck and a porn at the same time and being confused whether or not it should be
Yeah.
arousing or horrifying.
Right.
Like it's so fucked
Like speaking
up.
of wire, should you keep watching?
It's like-
As a
like,
Canadian, it's
I don't know.
very fun.
It's like,
Oh my God.
my
Yeah, you're in
God.
a better position than us because it can only be fun. Like at some point we have to actually sit and reflect and be like, no, wait, this is not funny.
This is real. This is real.
Okay. But
Yeah. Vince McMahon, the CEO of the World Wrestling Federation, is in charge of opening America. We're fucked.
the guy from My Pillow says that
know,
we will be able to open up again.
Oh. Have you ever tried a My Pillow, by the way, PS? Just on a side note?
No.
They're horrible. They're basically
really?
they're basically memory foam, like cut into small cubes, shoved in a fucking sheet and sewn shut.
You know, it's funny. I was sleeping last night, and I think my pillow's getting old, and I had the thought, like, maybe I should try a My Pillow, and then immediately went, nope, not doing it.
Good instinct, good intuition. They're
Yeah.
horrendous.
Can't endorse it.
Yeah, man, it's I gotta say, like, I've had to shut off the news so bad. Like, I can't do it anymore because it's just like, if it's not the president, it's fucking talking heads just saying the same horrifying shit over and over again, and it just like feeds this like negative cycle of emotions. And honestly, it's really confusing. I don't know about you guys, but like I feel then like I can't tell fact from fiction. I can't tell like what's sensationalist, what's real, where are we gonna fucking go? Like, it's really
Well, I
weird.
turned it on the other day. I have been stopping too, but I turned it on, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago. And they were saying that it's outbreaking again in China, and that people are that they think the virus is like reactivating. They use that term.
Mutating or
Yeah, even in people that had it and were recovered are getting it back. And I was like, this can't, like, I got to turn it off. I'm like,
Oh
I don't
my
know.
God.
Snacks, like, yeah.
oh my god.
So-
They did adjust their death toll numbers, I saw, by 39%.
Wow.
Whoa.
Which
Yeah.
I don't know, that the whole thing is so interesting to me because of just how shitty we are at measuring this thing. And I get the complexity of it, but it's like, it seems like 80% of the problem was moving fast and like implementing things at the right time, and it was preventable. But it's also like so far beyond my scope of competence to be able to talk about those things and how you actually do contact tracing and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, here's the thing. Here's where I'm gonna be the conspiracy theorist. How much of that is data manipulation and control so that people don't freak out and you don't have panic in the streets too? Like, there has to be some semblance of calculation in terms of like how the information gets distributed.
Some of the graphs are quite funny.
Oh, really? I haven't really looked at any of the data.
Oh, if you go in that standard acceleration chart group, they've got a thread that's just hilarious graphs,
Oh, wow.
and it's definitely worth a look at.
Dude, you have
Like-
to share it. You have to share that shit.
I'll find
Yeah,
it.
find that and share it.
Like the y-axes are all, they're just total. Yeah, it's very good.
back to that conversation about equal interval versus standard celebration.
Selena, what's up?
Girl,
Here.
second time I'm seeing you today.
I know. Oh,
Good morning.
what's up, dude?
Yes. Yeah, it's going. Day 2 of snow here in Chicago. So yeah, it's great. It's winter again. It's second winter in Chicago. So
Nice.
yeah. Just living it up, you know?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, we got snow going on here too. I'm in Vermont.
Oh wow, Vermont. Okay.
I live in
You guys
Nevada,
might
and
as-
people think that Nevada is like the hot desert, and it is the hot desert in some places, but it's primarily high desert. And so my birthday's on June 20th. There's numerous times that there's pictures of snow on June 20th in the high desert of me just like, well, I guess my birthday party's ruined.
It's like
Like,
Ryan
what?
having a deflated balloon, just looking really sad. Like,
Get your cardboard sign up.
Oh
Can
man.
you make that the profile picture for the Daily BA at some point?
Dude,
Just
that'd
like
be
you
awesome,
holding
right?
like a failing balloon in the snow. Just
It's
is the
deflated
perfect
and on the
time.
ground.
yeah.
Perfect time to be doing your signs. Where are they? Bring them back.
I did not. So contrary to popular conspiracy theory, I did not run out of cardboard. I just have not made the time to make them. I need to do it. I had a couple cool ideas. Part of the things that I was thinking of posting that would have killed on, I think, like on the numbers were related to like the issues between people getting laid off and stuff like that. And I couldn't figure out a way to post them without completely isolating one of the either BCBAs, RBTs, business owners. So I was just like, probably shouldn't execute on these.
yeah. So
Is there-
okay. So here's a fun question for the group. Should we give a fuck about offending our former employers still?
For me, I'm trying to figure
Is
out
that-
how to balance the diplomatic and not letting that get in
Yes,
the
of
way.
course. I'm just joking.
And-
Of course we should. A
Well,
little bit.
I don't want to do that. But like that's also the beauty of that's like the side of behavior analysis that I feel like this podcast emulates, and what people relate to though is like the raw authenticity. Clearly,
Right.
after behavior bitches shot up.
The realness.
Yeah, right.
Real
So
real.
I think it's a valid question. I feel like sometimes I'm sidestepping it, and I haven't finished solving that problem, and I'm not comfortable with I haven't finished figuring that out.
I got a question for you guys because this is a thing that I've been struggling with. Is that I've been really struggling with my motivation in terms of like focus and actually being able to get through anything from beginning to end.
Dude,
Like,
that's
it's-
so weird you just said that, because this morning I was like, Casey, just finish the dishwasher before you do the next task. I'll take 2 cups out and then I'll be over like, oh, I got to do this YouTube thing. I got to do this. And like my mind is in like a severe spiral.
Dude, yeah, for real. It's like a like vortex of shit. For real, it's rough.
And it is because we've just been gifted kind of what we've always wanted, which is infinite time. Like if I just had time to create these systems,
And now we don't know what
things
to
would
do
be
with it.
better. If I just had time to rehash this whole program, it would go better. And now it's like, okay, but I also have to manage these things that I have to do. And I also have to create a way for me to be able to work from home without caring that my son is right outside the door. And I also have to like still connect with my students and my principal and my administration. And then that time seems to be gone. It's
Are
just
some
like-
of
How
you
old's your
working
son?
more?
I
my
am.
son is 1,
Oh, okay.
little guy.
Mine's 10 months, so I'm with you. 10 and a half.
Yeah,
So we're-
it's a, it's a struggle to be home and not with them, you know.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
I've
Definitely.
definitely realized that so much of my motivation had to do with those direct contacts with my students. Now it's like
Right.
the most fun and joyful parts of my job are gone because I have no contact with my clients other than through video. And a lot of them don't have the prerequisites, like you said, Bethany, to attend or to engage in that video. And I'm like, oh, I still got the paperwork and the reports and the other BS. And it's like, oh, man, that's like, it's really hard to get motivated for that stuff without seeing the students, you know?
Yeah, no, that's legit. That's
I
legit.
mean, I'll keep it real. Like my life has not changed, to be honest with you. Like since I've left the direct care and been doing study notes and behavior bitches, my life hasn't changed, but guess what has changed? The fact that I have this dire need to stay motivated, to stay relevant, to stay, you know, up on it, on everything, the fear of all this stuff. And I think that's what's like, for me, I had to really tune into why I was, you know, engaging in all this anxious behavior and pacing my house. And I'm like, Casey, you've been doing this for 6 months. Like, folks, this is your day has not changed. I'm changing. So it's interesting. I'm not sure if Ryan, you felt that at all.
I feel like I was lucky in the sense that I've had like a heads up on figuring out this like work from home thing. So like a lot of the struggles that people are going through, I've gone through in various different waves in the past, but like there's some like weird things going on because my day-to-day was built around traveling and going to a lot of things. And like, essentially what happened is my workload, my hopper's not filling up on work. So usually what keeps me going is this pressure of like, oh, I'm about to have another 80 hours of work on my plate next week once I finish this recording session or something. So I need to finish all of this work so that I'm not overwhelmed. And without that hopper filling up, I'm just like, oh, fuck it. Like I can take, I wanted to do this video that was, I'm going to do this. I wanted to set it up to where like, there's two of me basically going through the two sides of it, where it's just like, you gotta work, like there's so much to do, you have all this time. The other side just like, oh, you're good, man, just like playing video games or like hanging out, because it's this like oscillation that I experience of, oh, I gotta finish, and then like, no, man, things are chill, like the hopper's not filling up, relax, you know. So for me it's this weird time in that sense, but I don't know, I've done pretty good at figuring out how to self-manage over the last like 8 years and keep busy.
Yeah, I've been doing some like Selena had done. I've been running this morning kind of just like meetup, kind of like this, but like it's just some ladies that come together, and it started in the beginning. It's been now we're going on with 6 weeks of Monday through Friday meeting at 9 a.m. And we do different things, listen to different TED Talks, podcasts, do yoga, we work out, we just like meet for like 30 minutes. And it's been something very consistent, but Selena brought up this thing about time blocking and like writing out your day in like blocks of time and saying this is what you're doing during that. And that's been helping me at least.
Yeah, we did a little self-care thing last night. That's one of the topics that kind of came up loosely. I'm going to dedicate more time into sharing that, but I learned that, and I set it and I re-look at it and I readjust it. Like I just readjusted last week because it was clear that like I needed to not do the typical. So when everything got disrupted about 6 weeks ago in my workflow for me, I readjusted it about 2 weeks after that. But then even in the last month, like it was clear that like my time blocks still needed to be switched. Super effective for me. One of the ones that I always talk about that people don't put in there is plan for the unexpected. So I have 2.5 hours a day that's just like unexpected shit that are things that come to the inbox, or like you messed up or you forgot about. Like plan for that. I would always plan for an 8-hour day, and then I'd have that other stuff and it would stress me out. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start planning for the unexpected.
I like that.
It's great.
Especially right now, everything's fucking unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah, time is definitely super relative, man. And like the perception of it, the way that it passes around you too, is what's kind of weird. It's like,
I forgot today was Friday.
Dude, that's fucked up. I'm sorry. Whoa.
Like TGIF, every day's TGIF.
So we said this morning, yep.
Oh man.
Well, it's my husband's birthday, so I didn't forget.
Do you think, Selena, yeah, I guess we are kind of all in our feelings all of a sudden, huh?
Are we?
I don't know. Do you think we're like Spock? I guess I don't know if I would like total like unemotional cripples. Like is that what happens when you become a behavior analyst, and then all of a sudden a crisis happens and you're like, oh wait, I am a human being. I have to feel feelings. That's an interesting point, I guess.
That's actually a really good.
Mentalistic. No.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
No, I've been straight up crying. Like I never cry. And this whole thing has made me cry just like over the dumbest shit, you know, like it's crazy.
Or irritability.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm mad a lot. I'm super
irritable.
mad a lot. I'm super pissy pants.
Well, there's just not any more. There's no more outlets. It's not like.
This is what I did the other day. I ordered my husband and I both kayaks because it's his birthday, and we can go on our river and kayak. We're so lucky. And they emailed me the next day and said, oh, one of them went through, but the other one, it's actually not in stock. So we've refunded you. And I called and I'm like, oh, I'm a really nice person. Like I hate being rude. I hate confrontation. And I was like, okay, well, what else do you have in stock? Can you check for me? And he's like, nope, I can't. There's only 2 of us here. Like, and I was like, well, thanks for your fucking not help. And I like hung up and I was like, I'm a horrible person. Karma is real. And I called him back and I was
Probably
like,
blacklisted too.
no, I felt like, oh my God, he's not even gonna give me the one kayak I got. So I like,
That McDaniel order is about to get fucked up.
No more kayaks for you.
called him back and
Right.
he like actually was grateful. I was like, I am not mean like that. And that you don't deserve that in the times we're in. It's causing me to be a person that I didn't want to be. And I got a kayak and he gave me a $30 gift card. Like,
Wow.
This
There you go.
benefited you, really.
I did. I had to be, yeah. But I realized why did I do that? It's not me.
Yeah, and
Man.
I think about that too. Like we're talking about that as people who have no inability to use executive functioning, and we're like high functioning master level practitioners. And then we got to think about our clients and our students are in this situation now. And we're like, hey, come over here and do some discrete trial with me on Zoom. What?
Yeah, dude. I know.
Meanwhile,
It's-
they're just crying because their Special Olympics have been canceled and all these sad things, and like they're going through their own stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I worked with the Special Olympics for like 10 years and it's so sad.
Yeah.
We're trying to do like videos for them, but
And
Yeah.
even that, if we're looking at too, just kind of like societally how we're trying to help, it's really interesting to look at from a behavioral perspective. Like this whole thing going around with let's all post pictures of our senior pictures, and to help out all of our seniors who have lost their ability to graduate. It's really counterproductive. Like let's throw ourselves out there so that we can get all this reinforcement on our pages about what we looked like 10 years ago. And somehow that's going to help these kids who are actually right now going through that they're not going
I
to be
lived
able
it. You don't get to
reinforcement like that.
suck it.
like what is
You could
that?
you
that
could
we're
look at it from the
doing?
other perspective though. It's like this is your fucking future, kid. Look at how beautiful you were. Look at how beautiful you were. Young,
look how skinny
Spry.
you were.
Yeah,
enthusiastic.
exactly.
unbroken, untainted by the shit show that is the universe. And now look at this. You have so much to
Yeah,
look forward
so
to.
maybe it is right.
All
two
down
What a
sides
pep
to every
talk.
story.
So really, really there is a perspective there depending on which way you want to approach that one.
Yeah, it's just I just feel like it's so fascinating to look at all of these contingencies like that and just think about who is this really, like Selena just wrote that, like who is this really benefiting, right? Who are we benefiting?
Dude, but really, who's really benefiting from anything right now? I mean, I think everyone is we're just throw shit against the wall and hope something sticks territory at this point where it's just like, this is how I cling to reality. This is how I keep myself from devolving. You know what I mean? This is how I like try to stay connected in some capacity.
The whole
But-
distance learning thing, like I've been finding that all these teachers are just like throwing shit at parents. Like it makes teachers feel better to send materials out. And the parents are like, fuck that. Please
Dude,
don't
for
send
real.
anything more. It's crazy.
For real.
That's why I'm not working, because parents are working from home. They're doing their homeschooling. The last thing they want to do with their half-hour chunk of time is talk to me about parent coaching stuff.
Mhm.
Like that's the last thing.
What do you guys think? What do you think the long-term effect is really going to be of kids missing out on some education for the next 6-8 months? Like for real?
I think
I
we're
mean-
looking at a huge impact on our achievement gap.
You think so?
I
Okay.
do, because we're not going to be able to start where we left off when we return to schools. Like
Though they
students are
might
not
try.
receiving the same level of education here. We're going to have to back up in our curriculum as a whole, as like this is where we should start. Like if you're entering 6th grade, we're going to have to start with halfway through 5th grade.
Right. I'm just kind of hoping that I guess I have two thoughts on this. I think the first thing is that like I hope that this really does trigger a serious reflection on the part of educators, because I do think that our education system is broken and set up in such a way that, I mean, the emphasis is on achievement, you know what I mean, and standards rather than actual learning and knowledge and like performance, you know? So I think that's a thing that I hope gets reevaluated, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think that there's a lot to be said about just being able to live a life that hasn't really been touched in 40, 50 years, right? That familial interaction, the different types of social participation and soft skills that you get from having to really engage yourself without necessarily like having every second of every single day scheduled to the extreme. Because that's the heart. Like we were talking about time blocking. Like, dude, I was thinking about what my schedule was like before this. Like I was scheduled from 7:30 a.m. till 11 o'clock. Like no shit, you know? And now it's like, I'm really scheduled. I'd get away with 4 hours if I really wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like if I really, really wanted to be lazy as fuck about it, you know? So like, what does that look like? And is that just been an illusion? Have I been deluding myself into that so that I can feel important and like stay busy and motivated? Like, I don't know. I really want to, in my head, I kind of think we should be, I hope that we approach this with a lot more empathy, but I definitely see your point though. I definitely think that kids are going to be a little bit behind for sure, but I hope that they're ahead in other areas. That's kind of like me trying to be optimistic about it, I think.
And I think you're right about that. This is like an amazing opportunity for generalization, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm teaching you all of these skills in this environment, in this school environment. And now let's see how that pans out when you're in this.
Amazing opportunity for people that have the resources, right? So I think you're going to have impacts completely across who is getting hit the hardest is going to be hit the hardest on the educational side too. It's usually what we see, right?
This is another way of highlighting the rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
Dude, big time. Time. That's the thing I hope, as far as like, you know, because we've briefly touched on, we've tried to avoid politics on the show to the max. Like we really have. Like I know like Selena and I are talking about maybe doing one. But I mean, like, I think, and this is where like my aversion to identitarian politics and stuff comes into play. Cause I mean, not to say that those things aren't a problem, but I think they're like a subset of the real problem, which is like, we just have a massive gap between haves and have-nots, the point of ridiculous. And just because within the have-not category, you have people that are kind of like a little bit more have-notty than actually having, like, it's easier to bicker in that level because we can actually interact with each other rather than having this like tier of people that are almost absurdly untouchable. Like when I saw some of the stuff with the stimulus and like seeing how some of the statistics and the way that money's getting distributed and like just the access that these people have, I mean, how do you justify giving $250 billion to every single small business in America, but somehow having $2 trillion for like 7 companies? Like that shit makes like mathematically is like absurd for me to even comprehend that in my brain. But then again, like that puts us in a position to pit us against these small businesses that we all really work in because of the type of field we're in, the exception of those that are in like public education or something like that. But I mean, like still, so it's like, I feel like hopefully this breaks down a lot of false dichotomies we've been stuck in. Like a lot of these like false argument, like bullshit like opposition, you know, and really like brings opposing groups that really have shared interests together to start advocating for each other. Because man, we really got to figure some shit out in this world. It is crazy. Have you guys seen the new stimulus proposal by Ro Khanna and the guy from Tim Ryan from Ohio? The proposal for temporary UBI.
No, what is it?
So it's a proposal for temporary universal basic income for the next 6 months, where every adult or every person, even dependents over the age of 16 as of Jan 1, get $2,000 a month plus 500 a child, which includes people with disabilities and includes elderly being as dependents till we get through the crisis. So as to like ensure that people are whole and people have the financial stability and have access to what they need and to like really curb so much of the insecurity that's going on outside of unemployment.
It's not going to pass.
Oh, hell no, it's not going to pass. But a boy can dream.
Perfect.
A boy can dream, man. A boy can dream.
In New Hampshire, like I know personally a lot of my own family members that have applied for unemployment right when it started still haven't seen a fucking dime.
That's crazy. Yeah,
they can't pay their mortgage.
I'm there. Wow,
like,
that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, poor planning on some parts if you don't have some savings, right? But no, not everyone does these days. A lot of people.
Dude, savings is hard, man. How do you put savings together if you have an $1,100? Like, let's just say you're renting in a really affordable situation. Like, and I'll speak of like from Ohio. Like, let's just say you rent or have an affordable mortgage at like, conservatively for round figure numbers, $1,000 a month. And that's crazy low. But I mean, let's just take it. Right? I'm just picking a number out of my ass. Okay. And like, so $1,000 a month. And let's just say you have $100,000 worth of student loan debt. I mean, like if you went to undergrad and you're broke ass, and then you went to, I have 180. So like, I'm definitely
120 right
yeah,
here.
bro. So I mean, like, but I'm just saying, like, let's just say you have a $1,100 a month student loan debt. So your student loans actually exceed the amount you pay for housing, which is preposterous and absurd, right? So, and then you tack on whatever amount of like a car payment, unless you drive a jalopy, and most people don't, or at least they haven't like taken the time to really pay anything off. And then you add food expenses, childcare, fucking electrical bills, cell phone, which I mean, like, who doesn't like anyone who says having a cell phone is like not a necessary requirement in our world is like being delusional and disingenuous, right? So I mean, like, you stack all that stuff, and let's just say the average behavior analyst is making between 65, like high-end behavior analysts, they're making 60, and like $80,000 a year. And I think that's like, as far as people that are certified, with the exception of like coastal areas like California, like New York, like real high-end markets, I mean, that's about average, I would say, nationwide. There's not a lot of dollars left at the end of the month. So I mean, like, there was a thing, Andrew Yang, the guy who was running for president, I mean, he wrote a whole book on it, called The War on Normal People. And I mean, the whole thing was breaking down the statistics, how the average American doesn't have enough savings to handle a $400 unanticipated expense. Well, this would be an unanticipated expense of cataclysmic Noah's flood level proportions. We getting I need 2 of everything in a boat, man.
Who's getting on the ark? That's what
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Who can afford to build an ark right now?
I don't know, man. At this point, we're just making it out of people, like the Soylent Green of vehicles.
Yeah.
Have y'all ever 2 things? I listened to that book recently, Running and Jogging. It's really good. I off of Dimitri's suggestion. It's really good. There's a foundation called the Long Now Foundation. It's based out of I believe the Silicon Valley area, or it's where it originated, and it's pretty cool to check out. It is essentially, my understanding, they do the whole point was like, how do we think long-term about any issue? So the whole point is to get people to stop thinking and really mess around with delayed discounting. And like, can you start thinking in this 10,000 year time frame instead of looking at tomorrow or today? But what's really interesting is they've done a few things where like, this is my perspective, like your rich elite that like do talk about how do we build our safety bunker during times of chaos. Like it's really cool to check out, because it's like academia and great things of thinking long-term meets like legit people that are privileged in society to be able to like out survive all of us. And these are the folks that are on the complete other side of the spectrum right now.
Oh man,
that's you said jogging and running?
No. Long Now Foundation. I'll save it. I was saying that I was listening to the book while I was jogging around running.
That's a fun game to play. Yeah. What is the first when this is all over, what is the first thing you're gonna do to prepare for the next time? Dude, I'm telling you right now, guns, machetes. I mean, I watch a lot of TV, so I'm just assuming this is gonna be requirements. Like maybe a couple of bow and arrows or some crossbows. I'm definitely gonna need some of that shit for sure. Barbed wire and canned foods out the ass. I saw they even have dude, for sure. I'm gonna moat. Like, how else do you keep the zombies out? So I mean, like this is a way that you can protect your home. And actually, I saw that you can actually buy canned hamburgers now. So I mean, like, really, we're in a pretty decent place if you think about it in terms of potential future preparations for the apocalypse.
My father's side of the family is Mormon. They all have 6-month stockpiles. I've been around that line of thinking.
Those people don't seem that crazy anymore, do they?
No, they don't. And what's crazy is like when people started freaking out initially, people are hitting them up in the family group chats, like, hey, if it gets crazy, can I come join you? And they're like, we prepped, you didn't.
What's up, Becca?
I definitely thought about stockpiling toilet paper so I can sell it next time around.
Dude, that was the most irrational purchase ever.
like now,
I can't believe how long it took to get back in the stores. Like even now, it's like, where's the toilet paper? Everybody has some. Where is it?
There was this great meme of just like a hand on the wall, like wiping shit with like a line saying like day 7, no toilet paper.
Oh, nice. I didn't see that one. That's awesome.
Oh man. The new thing is hair dye. People are buying hair dye.
Oh, some of the videos of the hair dye failures are cringeworthy. People's hair fall. Like, don't leave your bleach in for 2 hours, people.
Hair clippers too. I can't find them on Amazon. No Amazon Prime for hair clippers to cut my husband's hair. I used a beard trimmer last night and like gave him like some sort of like a semi haircut because he was looking real shaggy.
Yeah. Oof. My wife cut my hair.
What was that invention, the suck cut? Or was that just a Wayne's World thing?
I think that's a Wayne's World thing, man.
I think it's a real thing. I think they're out there.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's great.
I feel like I've met someone who's used them or swears by them.
I haven't seen a real one. All I remember is the video of the dad doing it with the vacuum cleaner to put his daughter's hair up in a ponytail or something.
Oh yeah, that was pretty impressive. I've seen that video. It wasn't he wasn't cutting, but yeah, he just did it to gather it up and then.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm out of ideas of shit to entertain myself. Give me something to entertain myself with. What do you guys got? What do you guys got that I might not have heard of or that I haven't seen before?
I can send you my 4-year-old.
Oh man, no. I've got one of those. We're good. No, thank you.
She'd entertain the baby. It's fine.
Fully stocked, man. We are overstocked on that. No,
have you watched Some Good News?
The Krasinski thing? I haven't watched it. Is it good?
They're fun. They're funny. I mean,
okay.
It makes you feel good that there's some good shit out there in the world happening.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll watch that.
It's like 20 minutes. They did
he's
one with
super wholesome.
Yeah.
He's super wholesome, huh? Him and Emily Blunt are like the cutest, most like perfect couple ever.
I didn't even know they were married.
Makes you wonder what kind of skeletons are in that.
Y'all, the Flowbee is real. I found it. There it is.
You sent it?
Ben, I'm so sorry for interrupting, but Ben, it's called a Flowbee. It is real.
This is awesome.
A Flowbee?
Before the Flowbee, only a skilled professional.
It's so great.
I do vaguely remember.
It's real. I don't think it's sold anymore, but it was real.
Is it a version of the suck cut?
Yeah.
Like it's the real suck cut.
I told you there's real ones out there.
You weren't crazy. We weren't believing you. I had to share. Sorry, what the hell are y'all talking about?
So what else? Some good news. What else? Like Rebecca's like, my soul is dying slowly. I have a child. Like the child is trying to murder me. Like
I've been doing coloring books. And I'm like, that's like a last resort for entertainment.
Have you hopped on TikTok?
Oh man, TikTok's addictive.
I'm enjoying scrolling through my For You page on TikTok for a limited 15 minutes a day. That's all. There's some creativity and ridiculousness on the internet.
Oh man, TikTok is like, if you can
find I did one. I made my first one, but it was terrible, and I don't know. I practiced for like hours, so I don't know how people have this time.
Yeah, I just watch people. Really, I don't post stuff.
If you can get the right flow on TikTok, it gets good. Like it's the perfect balance between like meth mouth and absurdity. Like,
dude,
really,
yeah, just
really nice.
Just sign up and scroll through the top posts. It can get amazing.
Yeah, man. It's real good.
I've been enjoying just like exploring and finding new creators on YouTube. I don't know what people are into, and like I'm into video stuff right now, obviously, so it's not like everyone digs it, but I found a number of people as a result of this. Like one guy was making, I sent you one of them just because I don't remember why, Dimitri, but I sent you the one. It was this guy that was making like the most unbelievable top end content I've ever seen. It does not belong on YouTube. And the guy has like 10 videos. I'm super sad that I binged through them already, but I've been just scrolling through trying to find what's being recommended and finding a couple gems out there.
Yeah.
TED Talks, another good one. I mean, there's a lot of good TED Talks out there.
Do you guys see Bill Gates one?
It's so hard to listen to the pandemic one.
Yeah, the top comment said, "YouTube has a fucked up sense of humor."
Dude, I honestly watched, like, no bullshit, all bullshit aside, I watched that TED Talk a few years. Like, I watched that TED Talk before, and I remember thinking to myself, "Is like, come on, really? Pandemics with modern medicine? Like, I remember dismissing it, how absurd it sounded. Oh man, I've really eaten crow on that one.
You jinxed us all, Dimitri.
Yeah, it's my fault. This is all. Yeah, don't blame Trump, guys. Blame me.
I blame you.
It's my fault. It's on me.
Also, Dimitri, I know you have been watch your story. You've been like doing some exercise. All these apps that cost so much money, like Peloton, that has a ton of workouts, like that are good 30-minute workouts. 60
Is it free now? Can you?
It's free.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Literally thousands of strength videos, cardio videos. You don't have to have the spin bike to use it. Yoga, meditations. That one's free. Orange Theory is also free. They've got awesome workouts too.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. I've just been doing them in my house. And a lot of them, I like it because they'll just use shit from around the house in their videos because they know we're all home and not everyone has weights. So those are good. Motivating.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I've been getting out and running every day. It's been nice.
Good job.
Yeah, I'm part of a Facebook group that does dance type exercise classes for free.
Nice.
Yeah.
You get your dance on, yo.
Definitely.
Yeah. Man, you're not that excited about it though. It doesn't sound like it's like a thing that we should want to try.
I'm not that excited. I'm not that excited about life at the moment, so don't
talk to us. What's going on? Let's laugh. Come on.
Oh God, no.
Lighten up, bro. You can't do it.
No, you don't want me to.
All right. It's okay. The thing is that like we started the videos because like I was calling Danielle and she was calling me, and then I was calling Ryan, he was calling me, and then like it's like, okay, going through this vicious cycle of like I can't tell if I'm bipolar all of a sudden or if I'm really experiencing
like really fast cycling bipolar.
Like holy shit, like for real, like I am either mega depressed, like to the point where I think the world is ending, or I'm like, everything's fine. It's all good. Yeah. Oh, I can do all this stuff. Oh, like this like really crazy optimism that's completely fucking unreal. And then like the level of exhaustion that degree of emotional swinging does, and like the fucking just the game it plays on how you like take in your reality, it's really is super too much sometimes.
Yeah, I don't fluctuate that hard. I go from, oh yeah, no, this is okay. I'm enjoying the break and the time off, and whatever. I would like to get outside more and do some of those things. And like you said, I have a 4-year-old that's sucking my soul.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I do definitely fluctuate to what's the point of any of it? It's all going to go back to the same thing, and the same thing was bullshit. So what's the point? And I'm thinking about all these things of, oh yeah, I'd like to live my life this way, and then coming back to the reality of I have a mountain of debt and I'll never be able to do that anyway. So
dude, I feel you.
I
feel you. I feel you, man. Do you have a partner, or are you a single parent?
Yeah, no, I definitely, thank God now. I am very appreciative of the help I have at home.
Okay, good.
For sure.
Actually, I couldn't imagine being a single parent right now. That would
oh God, no, I couldn't either. I'm actually giving her help because she's normally the stay-at-home parent.
Okay.
So she's been doing this essentially for quite.
Yeah, I know, right? How much respect do you officially have for the stay-at-home parents out there?
I already knew that it was.
I'd be lying.
I can't imagine the ones that are trying to do school for their kids.
Yeah, dude.
And still working and still that's not right.
Yeah, dude, it's hard, man. I know, and that's an interesting question that I've been trying to like reflect on. Is like, this level of world changing event, this level of like identity crisis that we're this existential moment, right? I mean, what happens if you wake up from it and you have all the opportunity to go back to normal and you say, you know what, I don't fucking want to.
I didn't want to before this started.
Yeah.
So I literally 2/3 of my anxiety is it's all going to go back to the same thing and I don't want it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might not.
I don't know, man. It's if they have it the way they want it, it'll be like they'll try to Jedi mind trick us like
they're
the
definitely
Matrix.
going to try and push it, but if enough people are really against it, you never know.
We don't have enough
No.
solidarity in our society.
Against
for
what?
that.
Sorry, I missed that.
Well, going back to the norm that we had before
Ah.
this, like, is it going to go back right away? Is it going to be the same? Is it not? Is it going to be
100%.
gradual?
It's going to be weeks.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for me to get, like Rebecca, you're saying, I think it's hard for me to get optimistic about the silver linings of change that I keep people talking about, because I feel like over the last, 4 years, I've been just watching the supposed breaking point happen. Like this is the thing that's going to finally expose the charade, and people are going to do it. And it's hard for me to feel like this is any different. Because it's kind of like we're going to see on a big level. I anticipate it's almost like massive spontaneous recovery. Like we're all on extinction schedules right now when our context returns.
It's gonna go hard.
Yeah.
Go hard in the paint.
Yeah.
Eat out
Right.
every day.
Yeah. Exactly.
I miss restaurants. I'm so tired of cooking.
Yeah, Indian food.
It's so weird though. I feel like I'm actually saving money right now. Like,
Oh God, yeah.
I can't do my hair every 4 weeks. That costs $200. I can't go to my husband. And I love going out to eat. We live in the cutest little town with all these like farm to table restaurants. We can walk everywhere, drink and walk. And like, that was a thing. I mean, I would look at my bank statements and it was just like, $100 easy dropped. Like we live in an expensive area on the seacoast, and it's now like, I go grocery shopping and spend $100, but then that's it. So I am seeing that kind of, in my bank account that, I actually have more money than I did before right now. Thank God right now.
You don't have to pay for gas. You don't have to pay for the bachelor part, whatever, like all stuff.
All my husband's like golf tournaments are canceled, his boat races. We had to cancel all the hotel reservations we had in like Indiana and Canada. The summer are already canceled. So I'm like, think about the money we were going to have to spend this summer. Like that's one silver lining that I'm trying to keep in mind.
Yeah. I have a ton of cash stuck in travel vouchers. Total first world problem. But like, I've got $5,000 stuck in travel vouchers because of like planned flights that were canceled.
Yep.
It's like, luckily most of them were pushing it back, but I bet it's one of those things where I was like, man, that'd be nice if you guys actually refunded that, especially when you get fucking bailed out, right?
Yeah, that would be so awesome.
Nope,
And,
not gonna
like,
happen.
Just kind of look, it's kind of fun to just look at the airlines right now just to see how much money it's like $65 to get to Puerto Rico, or so like these just really it'll be really interesting.
Is that what's happening?
That's a good point. I should go buy some plane tickets to Arizona for whenever I eventually get to visit family.
And I'm really excited to see what the actual effect is going to be with that we haven't had planes running, and how we're going to see how this actually affects our environment.
Oh, I'm super excited for the environment.
And
it's not going to be long enough, but
like moving
temporary break.
forward, if this made a big enough of an impact for people to see, maybe we should shut down airports once a year, like for one day, to see if that made some kind or something happened that built some momentum around us.
Mandatory 1 week
not
quarantine every year.
Yeah, not with the people in charge.
The science climate, the client science community, I think that's what I was trying to say, has been sharing some pretty cool stuff on like improving of emissions and all sorts of stuff as a result of this.
The Himalayas are visible for the first time in like 50 years or something.
Yeah,
but who makes the decisions? They don't give a shit.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. The machine is,
it's
it's real.
The looming discussion is basically like, hey, this was cool, and it's going to never really sustainably be a thing that we focus on until it gets really bad way down the road. So it's kind of for them, I've seen this like sad conversation around, well, this is probably what it's going to kind of feel like, except it's going to be really different issues, but horrible, dire circumstances and a lot longer to get out of is kind of the take home.
Yeah, this wasn't severe enough to cause any real sustainable change.
Oh man.
Ouch, right? That's where I'm at.
No, dude, honestly, you just articulated what any sane person who watches the news, who can fucking read,
Yeah.
if in the back of their mind they're not thinking what you're thinking, dude, they're just not. They're being self-deluded, right? They have to. I think there's a balance between like being super real and like having your third eye open in that way, and like being aware of the reality of shit, and also though like not letting it completely cripple you emotionally either, and or like put you in a
Right.
state where it controls you.
That's the balance. Yeah.
That's the balance. Because
Yeah.
I mean, like,
How can
dude,
I, accept what I do have available to me and still like do the best I can with what I have, and still have this awareness of, God, we could be doing so much better and we're not fucking going to be.
dude, it's real, man. I'm telling you, I read this book. Listened. I didn't read it. America: The Farewell Tour by this fucking by Chris Hedges. This is
That sounds
and like,
terrible. Yeah.
dude, have you heard of it? Or you read it? Oh, well, anyway, you can watch a lecture of it on YouTube where he just does like a book reading and talks about it. But like, it was so depressing. I literally moped around for 3 days. Like I could, because the whole time I'm just cycling through like it's hopeless. Like climate change. If our political structure doesn't kill us and our economics don't kill us, climate change is definitely gonna fucking kill us. It's like what is the point of like, and like the thing is, it gets to a point where it's like, man, that's tomorrow, and like it might seem self-delusional at times to say fuck it, that's tomorrow, but like
Literally can't do anything about it.
literally can't control it. Like there's nothing you can do to stop the world from revolving on its axis and turning around the sun. Like fuck it, man. Like there is such thing as just like universal axioms that exist, and it's fucking physics at that point. So like I think I'm just gonna try to live right now, handle shit right now, really enjoy things like this, and like, because I mean, like, I'm having a lot of fun. Like I really appreciate this. Like seriously, like I haven't had this kind of outlet in so long, so I really appreciate every single one, like everyone who's actually been willing to put their camera on. Thank you guys. But I mean, like that's all we can do. Because I mean, yeah, dude, I totally get the despair is real. Like, because that in that book too, he talks about these things called diseases of despair, how they're like societal systems of what failed nation states look like in the future, and then he starts doing a lot of different comparisons between various empires who have fallen throughout different times of history, even modern societies or states like Yugoslavia and USSR and like Germany, Argentina, and like just like how a lot of the problems that we see in our society start imitating different aspects of these different things, and if we don't impact them, like this is what happens. We already, like, history repeats itself. You've seen it. I mean, I'm Greek. Like Greece dispelled 400 years of modern economic theory in about 4 hours. You know what I mean? About 10 years ago. And it was like, okay, that means that this shit is an illusion. It's held by sheer communal force of will and like compliance by enough people with the rules to where we think it's an actual universal axiom, And once those things once you start to get cracks in that kind of a structure, I mean, it is an eventual slow unwind. But what can we do about it? I honestly don't know. Like, run for office? How real is that? Like, do you do that? Like, do you get on a fucking soapbox and scream at the top of your lungs? Do you like, what can we possibly do to really affect change? I don't know. Like that's the thing that scares me.
I mean, I sit here and I'm like, if Bernie with all his money can't make it, like what?
Yeah, well,
the fuck am I gonna do?
Right.
Yeah. That really turned things for me too. Like
Bernie getting
definitely had some serious conversations about leaving the country.
Yeah, I mean, Bernie bends the knee to fucking literally a walking corpse. What do you expect?
Yeah. I was like, and that's the end of hope for me.
I know. I'm with you, dude. I was there for a little bit too.
Get like that. We're just so in your head and you can't, and just like, and not be totally dismissive of this, but then you just feel like, thank God this talking how I make it through.
I am very encouraged by all of the individual people I see on Facebook or whatever it is that are like, yeah, things can't go back to the same. Like I'm happy that so many people feel that way, but we're a product of our environment, right? I mean,
yeah, things can't go back to the same. I agree. I'm with you on that. I don't want it to go back. This sucks, and this has fucked with my emotions in a way that like I haven't had to deal with in a very long time, and it's broken me down more than once, like really more than I even thought it would. I mean, I have not been a great person to live with. I've been really mopey, and just sad about stuff. And, you know, I think about in the last 72 hours, that's kind of slowly switched, I think, because I've eased into it and I've kind of gotten to that acceptance phase.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to like it. Like,
Oh,
this is what it looks, this is what it felt like when my grandparents were broke as fuck, but still had their control over their freedom and weren't slaves to their debt, trying to be responsible members of society, right? This is what it looked like when people owned their shit. And yeah, they had $100 in the bank, but they had $100 in the bank. They didn't have $100 in bank and then $110,000 worth of shit, like, where if they don't take care of it, it'll all be taken away from them tomorrow. And like the notion of the level of like the indentured servitude that I think that us buying into the delusion of education as a gateway to freedom, I think is real. You know, that is definitely a thing. But I also think that if you think about that in terms of being a crippling thing, it will fucking kill you, man. It will kill you. It won't eat you alive. It will kill you. And it'll make it impossible for you to function. So I think the real question is like, what can we do in our system, in our organization to change things? It's funny because I was talking to Ryan. I was like, you know, I know this is a totally passe thing to say, but I mean, what does it look like when you have, you know, actual solidarity in a profession and a vocation? You know, how do you establish something like that and say, okay, this is what collective bargaining looks like, or not even just bargaining, but like this is what it looks like when you have a shared ethos and expectation, how you should operate in the world. And how do you go about creating a group like that can have some type of level of impact without getting called a communist? Like, how you know, like, and being reasonable about things and just saying, hey, you know what, this is just about being fair, not about taking what other people have and that kind of thing. And like, I don't know what the answers are to those questions, but I hope that it becomes a lot less stigmatized to have that, and a lot less like you get blackballed from being able to be hireable if you want to explore that. Because that's the other thing, is that the punishing consequences for even wanting to say that kind of shit out loud is real.
Yeah, you're not part of the system. Go away.
Yeah.
Are you
smirking,
familiar?
Selena? Selena's smirking over there.
Are you familiar with like pro-social and all of that?
I don't know what that is. No, what is that?
So while back, contextual behavioral science, Stephen Hayes, all that, teamed up with Evolution Institute, and they have developed this system of how groups function together based on Eleanor Ostrom's core design principles. And so there's an entire like movement and setup and everything. You can become a pro-social facilitator and go help groups. And it all kind of builds off of and surrounds the ACT matrix of how to make change within organizations and whatnot. But
Very
I mean,
cool.
it's literally like the Evolution Institute and all that. It's literally all about developing a, oh God, I can't think of the words I want to use, but the like what you were talking about, the world perspective of how do we come together to improve the world and, you know, think about the future and evolve and set up an environment that perpetuates this pro-social behavior.
A few things on that. I was watching it at various different points. It's dope. Thanks for bringing it up, first of all, Rebecca. David Sloan Wilson does some pretty cool stuff in evolutionary biology. I shared the link on Amazon in here. The cool things about it is the book came out 2019. This isn't one of those like, oh, we could do this. Like, they actually worked with groups for a number of years and reported on what's been working and not working in there. It is like, in this cool way, I think this vision that people like Skinner had originally, you bringing in these different areas of psychology and biology together. They actually have a platform, so you can like sign up to work with your group through the platform. I haven't been in there in like 3 years, so I don't know what it looks like now, but it was at the time set up to where any group that wanted to try to test these principles out could do that. And my favorite part to end on, I guess, was the fact that they brought in Eleanor Ostrom's principles. It brought in this cool Nobel Prize winning perspective. So I don't know, it's dope. There's data, but it's, for me, like kind of what the field was about: collaborative, interdisciplinary work, trying to save the world.
Yep. Mhm.
Got
His
so many
friend.
links open now. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, check it out for sure.
I
right.
will definitely check that out, like for
Mhm.
real. Because that's
Yeah.
what I think for me, like how I want to deal with this moving forward is that I want to take, I've spent the last 10 years obsessed with behavior and like reading
That's-
and learning and fucking, you know what I mean? And like,
And we
really
still could do nothing but with
and cultivating this skill set that I think is so unique and essential. And then I find out it's really not that essential. So it's like, okay, well, fuck it. But I mean, like on top, it's like, what does action look like? Like at some point in time, you know, we take action in with this small segment of the populations that we work with, and that's important and it's good and it's great work. You know, it's impactful, it's meaningful, it's socially significant. But I mean, like when it's all said and done, how have you really affected or moved the needle on the grand scheme? And I think for my values and the way that it's exposed what I want for myself, I need to feel something like that. I need that for real. Because like there's no, I agree with you. Going back to normal, just to your fucking rat race situation where you're like 40 hours a week, get home, eat really fast, feed your kid, give him
try
fucking
to pay your bills, but don't make enough to really do it anyway.
right. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
make your bills, you know what I mean? Or do
Mhm.
enough juggling to where like nothing comes in late and like it looks on paper like you're just such a fucking high functioning member of society. In reality, you're barely treading water. And then like schedule your evenings so you can try to get ahead and like fucking, you know, do school or whatever the fuck you're into for that thing or work
Yeah.
a second job or whatever
Right.
hustle or, you know, gig thing you got going on. Like that's no way of living, man. That's no way of fucking living. So we gotta, I mean, like legitimately gotta figure out a better way to live.
Mhm.
I like honestly have not even like I have like not even like allowed this thought to like
Sorry.
to start because because I like if that thought starts, it will the chain react like the chain that it will continue, it will not stop. Like it will just keep going. And like and I say this just from my experience. This is just like my learning history, just putting it out there. And like by no means am I trying to like minimize like your experience or to do anything of that nature, like Rebecca, but like this is just from my end of it, and just to hopefully bring in some positivity or some different outlook that could just share something out of this. But I just like can't, like I cannot go back to that like pre-pandemic, like PP. Like that's literally like how I have this.
Yeah, we should start writing new time.
Yeah,
PP.
like
I like it.
like how I have this like
PPE.
stored in like I have like journaled like pre-pandemic, you know,
Yeah.
well before this. Like that is just part of my lifestyle. And so like going through this now, like during pandemic, you know, this is just how it is. And like I cannot allow that thought to come into play, because it just like can't happen. Now the magnitude, now like how that looks, how we tacked that change after pandemic, AP, how I am labeling that, looks different. So how we want change to happen, how we want, you know, the grand scale of it to be is going to look different for everybody. And that's just something that I'm keeping in mind for myself. So change for me may look differently of like keeping it behaviorally focused, of like how I complete an assessment with the client, or like how I write a behavior plan, or how I complete like a staff training. So those things may look different. And hopefully from there, that can create a chain reaction from that to create things more positively from there. So that's kind of like how I keep things focused and positive. Like, is it going to cure cancer? Is it going to fix, you know, hunger? Like, no, but like, I try to like think of things and like what it is in my little bubble that I can focus on and control. And I use that term loosely because that term has like so many other connotations associated with it. But like
literally the only way that anything's going to change though is if enough people go out and actually engage in some level of their own behavior change. And
Exactly. So like, that's why I'm like, that thought, I can't allow it, because like, holy cow, like that will just like I just will like feel so
I guess
sad.
I should be
like,
impressed that it
no.
hasn't completely crushed me. Like, good for me, I guess. Yeah, some perspective to help me reframe that a little bit. But
What was the
Yeah,
You
and,
original
have to be
thought
able
you
to go
posed?
from
handling
the, you have to be able to go from the
yeah,
30,000 foot view back down to where
Yeah.
you're sitting right now. Like,
that's what I'm practicing.
yep,
Yeah.
okay, what does my life touch right now? You know,
Mm.
where can I make an impact, and not banking on the world changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like absolutely,
Grateful
like,
for collaborations.
yeah, 100%. Like this is all very real, that like on a global level of like what everybody is experiencing right now, and like that's something that I don't think this is like out of context, but like history textbooks are going to be writing about like this point in time in history right now. So like what we are all experiencing like is very real. Like this is all very, very real right now. So I think it's all like this is just a processing time, and like everything that what we're all going through, like this is like, I think there's just a set of like unrealistic expectations too, like that are going on like as well, like for people like in like life and work and everything. So like that maybe like what is happening like I don't know, like I'm seeing so many people like in different like Facebook groups and different like webinars like share very similar stories, and I just want to like be like you like, oh, like you're so not alone, like keep going, like you're doing the right things, like just keep going.
Go down the rabbit
Yeah, that's what I got.
What when you say unrealistic expectations, could you elaborate on that a little bit? Give me some more.
Well, just just like that,
Broad
like that
sweeping
things
world
should be
change.
normal, that like kind of like that like to keep to keep going, like to keep operating underneath our normal contingencies. Like I think there's like a false positive at times of like that this is like to keep going underneath our normal contingencies of like,
Oh, you mean like somehow this is going to end and we should just keep operating like it's not happening because
yeah, or like
really
that, or
we're
like
just being
there's
whiny
like
babies.
this off switch of like when the government opens again, like that is going to be like schools open again, or like work's back open again. It's like this should be like a transitional phase, and like that's something that I think a lot of people are having a difficult time like grasping, unfortunately. And that's like a larger conversation of like a top-down approach, like even well outside of like organizations and whatnot. But like, so like, yeah, like that's something that I think is happening like on a very, very large scale. And I do see this like in so many groups like out there.
Well, because you're witnessing the stages of grief with like
Mhm.
what normalcy was, and like you mourn your life, man. You mourn as much as we hate the status quo.
We mourn the illusion we had.
Exactly. The illusion of security, the illusion of stability, the illusion of control, the illusion of success, the illusion of position in society, of identity,
routines.
of routine. I mean, like there's so many things that are just are things that influence us and have create this anchor to our reality and create this like anchor that we have these various to our previous contexts, that I think that you have to go through a mourning process of that. And I think that for high functioning adults, or not even high, for just functioning adults with complex verbal behavior that fall under the rules, like I think an extinction burst looks like emotionality. I mean, this is reactivity is what it is. So I mean, like these are the behavioral implications of it. And do I think it? I don't know. I don't think it's delusional to still hope for that things can go back to normal if that's what you want. I think the real question, and I think to what Becca was talking about, at least where I'm coming from, at least I don't want to speak for you, but like I actually am at the point where like I don't want it to go completely back to normal. Like I do want some normal. Like I do want to be able to go back to work and like work with my clients and like do the work that I do find fulfilling and meaningful. but I don't want to do it in the same way. I don't want to build relationships in the same way. You know, I don't want to interact with my peers or colleagues the same way. I don't want to have, I don't want that to be the same way. I don't want to feel beholden in some like hostage situation where it's like, if I don't act X like X, my entire existence is potentially at risk in this Y fashion because I can't be my authentic self, you know, for fear of whatever social thing that might come from that, whether be it, you know, offending somebody or like whatever that thing may be. So yeah, I think there's a medium ground. I mean, moderation and everything, including revolution, I think, which is like
The shaping procedure.
yeah, it's a slow, steady,
Exactly.
evolutionary process. It's a cultural
If you don't want to go
evolutionary
back to the
process.
normal, then you just got to pick a small goal-directed thing and work our way back up. That doesn't
Yeah.
rock your world completely.
I was gonna say,
Exactly.
depends on how strong the contingencies are, though.
Yeah, man. Because
Yeah.
it's we'll get there. I mean, I think it's one step at a time, man. This was awesome. This went over. This is good. This is great.
Yeah. Thanks, y'all.
This is awesome. I think we're gonna do this again sometime soon.
Please do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd
we'll
be
definitely
great.
be doing this again. This was I really needed this. Thank you guys. Seriously. Like for real.
fun.
Like you have no idea how much you helped me out today. Like this is
It's
awesome.
good to give back.
Yeah.
As
Yeah,
you and I are
exactly.
faced with discussion boards and exams.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like,
As we
great,
have these
can we not end
bullshit
this?
comp finals. I know. I gotta go relieve my wife. She's got to get her billable time in still. So
Nice. I got
but
something at the top of the hour. So this is perfect.
but yeah, thank you all. Thanks to the audience that was watching and people who commented on Facebook. I'll try to go back and look at all the comments and stuff and try to reply to people as we can. And this was really great for fucking content too. I have so many new ideas to do some videos on, so that was awesome. And keep them coming, man. And hey, and to everybody, anybody who's watching or commenting, and you guys in particular, like, you know what I mean? If we're not friends on Facebook or whatever, hit me up. Like, please know that I'm available to you. Okay. So if you find yourself in the depths of despair and you need a voice, I got you. Okay. But anyway, that's it. Be marvelous to the world. TCE.
Marvelous.
Later, guys.
All right. See y'all. Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
Peace. Dimitri, hold me to getting a freaking episode edited today. All right.
Huh? Say what?
Hold me to getting an episode